Go on, say. Yeah, sometimes when I get off the train and I look and I think of my family and I think, but I'd probably go Scarborough way. You know, I always liked Scarborough, and you know, I used to live in Flixton, which is just outside Filey, and I've got lots of friends there, loads and loads of friends. You know, but yeah, I've often considered it. Yeah, but you see, where I live now, I live in Torremolinos, near Malaga, and I close my apartment door, and 5 minutes later I can be on the beach. It's just down the street, you know. So if you ring me up, I can tell you whether the Mediterranean's flat or whether there's waves, whether the palm trees are blowing, you know. So sometimes, and Terence and I actually last Sunday we were both in the sea, swimming, and it was gorgeous. It was 30 degrees, so. Oh, all right. I'll give it to you later. All right. Cost you though, cost you. Double orange juice on the rocks. Anyone else got a question? Don't be shy. Go on.
Will you have a winner's bus?
Would I have
a winner's coach trip?
A winner's coach trip? There's so many coach trips that are bantered around, you know, in the office. They were talking today about, you know, doing, obviously, this Christmas one, and there's a few other ideas that are sort of in the melting pot, which I can't tell you about, but, you know. But, yeah, they discuss all sorts of things like the winners, you know, the losers, you know, the most argumentative, you know. Remember Pascali? Ooh. Yeah, you all remember him, don't you? Yeah, yeah. There's a few. Isn't there, Carla? Anyone else at all? Yeah. Yeah, sometimes I do. What we do is, once I've worked out the route and everything, there's a team of us that work out the route, because the route's got to be, A, good for the coach. We've got to be able to get the coach from A to B. It's got to be a certain time as well, because obviously you can't have the people on the coach too long because they get tired and restless, don't they, Carla and Angie? And then, you know, whatever place we're visiting, then there's got to be things that we can do there, you know, that are synonymous with the place, you know. So it depends actually on the destination, and also, you know, what we can do. At the moment, you'd be amazed at what we can do in Sweden and Norway for Christmas, I tell you. Mooses have been in the conversation. I'm not kissing moose. I'm not going to kiss a moose. Any other questions? Yes. Favourite place in the world? Oof, that's difficult because there are so many places. I mean, you know, I do love. You know, I did some tremendous travelling all around Australia. I do love Australia, and like the Barrier Reef. You know, they gave me a pair of snorkels, a snorkel and a pair of flippers, and they had to come out in a boat and bring me back because it was so beautiful. You know, there's so many places. You know, and I still haven't done anywhere like South America. You know, there are certain places I've done in South America, but I'd like to go to Argentina. You know, and Cuba's beautiful as well. Cuba's really nice. You know, thank you. A favourite couple? Carla and Angie, favourite couple? Not really. No, I try to be neutral really, because I don't like to upset anybody. But we do have lots of fun, you know. And the more people are on, I think Carla and Angie will verify this. The more people stay on, the more they play the game, and the more they actually stay on the coach. Then the more I warm to them, because simply they've been on the longest, you know, so I get to know them. And, you know, literally, you do every day, you're up with them, you have your breakfast with them, you get on the coach with them, we do activities together, you know, we do a bit of banter on the coach, you know, we do games on the coach. So you do get to know people really, really well, you know, and, you know, especially their bowel movements, you know, they all want to go to the toilet, you know what I mean? Everywhere we go, it's, you know, I need to go to the toilet. You know, they say, well, you can have a wee on the go. Oh no, I need to do, you know, number 2, isn't it? And that's what it is, you know. And so you do get to know them, and because I'm their courier, their guide, you know, they confide in me more really. So you do get very, very close to them. Yeah, you do. And you know, for me, it's very difficult because when they do get voted off, you know, I may not agree with the vote, but I've got to deliver it, you know. I think there was one case Sam and Charlie. Do you remember the Posh Boys? Yeah, they were really nice kids. And they were really lovely, you know, and they were terribly frightfully, you know, they were terribly frightfully. And Sam, I used to say to Sam, you know, we did this shotgun exercise in Estonia, which was awful, you know, because we never touched firearms before, but these were live. And he just took this shotgun and he just boom, 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 boom. And I said to him, do you do that when you're grouse shooting? And he said, well, actually, yes. He said, Daddy paid for me lessons. And I used to sort of take the mickey out of him. But every night, those two guys used to come back to me and they used to say, thank you so much, Brendan, for today. It's been wonderful, you know. You know, the activity has been tremendous, you know. It's like having, you know, Harry and, you know, on the coach, you know what I mean? And then something happened in their vote. They said something about if they went tomorrow, they'd had a wonderful time on the coach, so it wouldn't matter. And people who were not sort of looking, well, they were looking for a reason, really, to vote for them, picked up on that comment. And it went a bit sort of skew-whiff, really, and everybody sort of like, they started voting for them, and then in the end, they were voted off. You know, they got the second yellow. And it was awful because I had to, it was terrible because the circle is already formed, and I stand usually to the right of the circle, depending on which way they want me to go in with the cameras and things. And the cameras had started to roll, and it was Nikki and Amanda, if you remember Nikki and Amanda. Yeah, they started crying. So Nikki and Amanda started crying, and if you remember Glenn and Becca, they started crying, and I'm waiting in the wings, sort of thing, waiting, and then someone else started crying, and I thought I can't do it, you know, and I started getting a lump in my throat, and I went on to do it, and I couldn't say it, I couldn't say my line, and it's the first time I've ever not been able to say my lines, you know, properly, and the director looked at me and he said, oh, take a minute, you know. Because Sam started to cry. As soon as I stepped in, Sam started to cry. And I thought, oh, don't you start, you know. And I was saying, the result of the... and I had to go off and have a drink of water and come back on. Have 2 minutes and then come on and then I had to deliver the vote. And it is the hardest. We've had old ladies on, you know, that they voted off. And I hate it, you know, because they're like my grandmother, you know. And it's just that I always say, you know, I'm neutral, I'm Switzerland, and, you know, and thank goodness I don't have anything to do with the vote, you know. But it is hard delivering the vote, you know, especially if people are nice, you know, and if they're genuine as well. And, you know, sometimes, but it's a game. You know, you have to remember it's a game. And everybody says, I don't know how that Alison and Ashley won, you know, and I don't know how that so-and-so and so-and-so won. And I said, but they played the game. You know, they played the game from beginning to end. And that's the, you know, that's what it's all about, you know. Has anybody else got any?
Do you get to say it who comes on?
Do I get to say? No. No, they keep, in fact, it's the same. No, I don't see anybody. I don't see any of the contestants, and I don't see any of the celebrities either. I mean, I don't know them anyway. When I met them at the airport, I still don't know who they were. But no, I don't see any of them until they literally walk out of that hotel door and then come onto my coach. And oh yeah, definitely, yeah. Oh, apply. I mean, I think after one programme, we got, there was an announcement made by Channel 4 that we would do another series. I think it might be in series 5. And there was 125,000 applications came in within about 3 days, you know. I mean, the computers were like smoking, you know, they just couldn't take all the emails. It was amazing. But it's just, you know, it's a good format, you know, and it works, you know. Channel 4 are very pleased. Anybody else got a question? Yes?
How does she allow it to be more recognisable than the celebrities?
Actually, it's lovely, really. It really is nice, you know. You know, I remember we were in London for Celebrity. When Celebrity 1 went out, we were on Philip Schofield to promote it, and the Chuckle Brothers were coming down from Doncaster. And they weren't travelling first class. No, they were. And we all met in the hotel, you know, and the theatre, one of the theatres across the road just emptied, and they all came into the hotel bar, and we were all sat there. And like, we were just swamped, and we just had to have our photographs taken with all these people, and then, you know, as it sort of died down, the maitre d' came along, and he said, look, I'll take you around into this lounge. You know, we said, no, we're here, we'll stay here, you know, that's no problem. And I said to the Chuckle Brothers, how do you, you know, have you been doing this for years and years and years? how do you cope, you know? And he said, well, you know, Brendan, he said, you've got to remember, he said, these are the people, you know, who pay your wages, they're the people who watch you on television, and they're your audience, you know, and, you know, and you've got to be very careful about that, you know. So I always say hello to each other, you know, to people, and have a photograph taken, and, you know, as I say, they always share their favourite moment on coach trip, you know. And sometimes I feel very humbled, you know, because I'm just a lad from Leeds, you know what I mean? I'm no airs or graces, I wasn't born with a silver spoon or anything like that. My parents worked, and, you know, as the O'Briens would say, you know, I used to call in their house for a cup of tea, actually, after Mass every Sunday morning, and a big slice of Philomeno's bread with loads of butter on it. And, you know, and it's things like that that I remember, you know, and people like that who remember that, you know, that were kind to me, and you know, I don't have my my head stuck up my bottom, no, I don't. And my family would tell me anyway if I got a bit, you know, snobby or a bit aloof.
Who were those two fellas on this series that were on there then?
Oh, that was Gary and Phil. Gary is the hairdresser to Kate Moss. Yeah, and Phil is apparently he's a celebrity builder, and he does all this building work. Yeah, yeah. But I just noticed Gary's teeth, how white they were. You know what I mean? But there we are. Anyone else got a question at all? Yes, love. Where the camera crew sit on the coach? Right. Yeah, we have the front of the coach is obviously for myself, Paul, and the contestants, and then you have a door. You walk through that door, and you're like literally in the middle of the coach. And on the right hand side is a rack for all the cameras and the sound equipment. And then to the left, you've got the emergency exit, which also leads down to the toilet. And then there's another door there, and you open that door, and it leads into a little production office, a very small production office where the head of production sits with his staff, and they have computers and printers and all sorts of things going on in there. And then there's another door, and then right at the back, they sit all at the back. You have all the camera crew, you have 2 cameramen, at least 2, maybe 3 cameramen, 2 soundmen. You have all the monitors and all the microphone, the sound equipment, all monitored there. And then there's about 3 or 4 seats, and then there's a whole back row where people that run it for you, what is called runners and loggers, and people who are researchers, and people who just generally help you make the program, you know, because, and it's what I always do, you know, at the end of the run, you know, when it's 30 days is up. Quite recently we finished one, a very exotic pleasure I can't tell you about, but it'll soon come, Series 8. We've just finished Series 8, and we've also done Celebrity 3. And then, of course, we're going to do Christmas. We're going to start filming Christmas in a couple of weeks' time. But no, I couldn't do it without them guys, you know. And when we finish, I always thank Paul, you know, for getting us. I mean, this last one, we did 5,500 miles to our last destination, and so that's where I have to say goodbye to him, and I take the people to the airport, so I say goodbye to them. But I also give a big cheer for the guys in the back, you know, for the cameramen who are very professional, you know, and the soundmen that you work with every day, day in, day out, and they become your mates, you know, they're your friends, you know. They mic you up every morning, you know, and Garthia goes mad when my shirt's hanging out, or my microphone lead isn't tucked in, and things like this, you know. And they're your mates, you know, and you know, it's hard, it's not easy, you know. Some days you'll be filming for 12 hours at least, you know. I'm sure the girls can verify that, you know, and sometimes, you know, if things go wrong, or because we don't do any preparation, you know, I can book a lady for segways or whatever in a foreign country. She knows about the program, she'll see a disc or whatever, so she knows it. Yes, darling. A favourite series? No, not really. No, I've loved every minute of doing it. I really have, and you know, long may it continue. You know, I think Channel 4 are very happy with it. I did the series 4 was a long series. You know what I mean? It was a long period to do it in, because they wanted like 12 weeks filming, and it was hard work. It really was. God knows how we got through it. And to go to Tunisia and Morocco, you know, they're lovely countries, you know, but trying to get a coach in with, you know, with walkie-talkies and with camera equipment and things like that, you know, and crossing borders is difficult as well, you know, because we have to declare all that equipment, you know, and it's difficult, you know, but But no, I can't say I've got a favourite. You know, I've loved every trip that I've done. You know, I mean, at the end of it, I'm thinking, oh, thank God, I'm going on that flight to Malaga. You know what I mean? But I love it, and you know, and people are so nice, you know. And yeah, they might be grumpy one day or grumpy the next, but you know, it's an adventure. It is. It's a coach trip adventure, and it's been part of my life now for so long. I get used to it. You know, it's amazing. Anyone else? Final question? Last but not least. Shall we sign some books? Yeah. All right. And if you want a photograph, please just ask, okay? Thank you all for coming.
Thank you very much, everyone, for coming.